Hi, I'm Tracy Tadero, and I'm so glad you joined us for the Be Courageous Online Summit. My intentions for this series is to provide support and encouragement during these challenging times that we're all experiencing. Today, my amazing guest is Chad Cooper, an accomplished athlete, businessman, philanthropist, super dad, and author of Time Isn't the Problem, You Are: 4 Strategies to Transform Stress into Success. Chad's greatest passion, however, is sharing the principles he discovered to help others also shatter the status quo and live the life that they were born to live. When Chad synthesized his own experiences, he knew it was turned to be the guide for others. And now Chad coaches a wide variety of high achievers, such as athletes, entrepreneurs, CEOs, and retirees to break through real and perceived barriers to discover their unique purpose and integrate it into every area of their life. He is an expert at helping ordinary people lead extraordinary lives with clarity. Welcome, Chad. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Tracy. That was amazing introduction. It's like, I wish I had that written. Oh, wait, we did write that for you. Never mind. Where are we going to dive in to serve people who are really looking for some answers, really need some help and support today? So I'm here to serve. How can we dive into that and really make this a juicy and delicious experience for people?
Love it. Love those words. Well, I guess I would like to start with a question. Just tell me about a time in your life when fear played a big part in shaping who you are and how you overcame that.
Wow. I could give you a lot of examples of where fear played a big role in my life. That can be from after I graduated high school. 2 days after graduated high school, I left and went into the United States Marine Corps. That could be in downhill skiing competition and going to the level that got me an invite for the U.S. ski team. The fear of my first Ironman, full Ironman. I mean, numerous in there. And less important about what that event was, and more I would say is what were the ingredients in the pieces in there that allowed me to champion or overcome those. And I think the first is being able to identify, for me, there was a point, and I really want to say I owe that to the military, to the Marine Corps, where they taught me that I'm capable of doing 20 times more than what my brain wants to believe, right? So when we start experiencing physical pain, we go, oh, that hurts, let's stop. But in reality, physically, we're capable of 20 times more than we ever thought of. So I remember I had the flu and I was in boot camp. And my drill instructors had a very unique way of dealing with that. I mean, it was coming out both ends. It's a little graphic, but that's how sick I was. And they said, fine, drop in, start doing push-ups. Well, in the Marine Corps, you weren't allowed to have a watch or know the day, time, any of that kind of stuff, right? So they just keep you busy. Well, somebody somehow had a watch or was able to keep track. Now, most people, you think, oh, what's doing a lot of push-ups? 3 minutes? 5 minutes? I mean, doing push-ups for 5 minutes is not easy. 45 minutes later, while I had the flu, I finally collapsed. And it was in that moment of absolute pain that I understood the difference between the fear and danger. And many of us have fear, which is a false emotion that appears real. Ooh, this hurts. Ooh, this is scary. I'm not sure what it is. Run away. And it's just that it's a false emotion that appears real. But if we understand and we look at it, is this real danger? Then what we need to do, if it's real danger, is we need to take immediate action. But if it's a false emotion appearing real, then we need to look at and start with, what's the meaning of whatever I'm focusing on? And so I learned in any big moments of my life that I had to get my head really dialed in to what's the meaning and the emotions I'm associating with this, and just kind of lean into that pain or lean into that fear and just say one more step, one more one more push-up, one more whatever it is. And there's an old African proverb, walk as far as you can see. And when you get there, you'll be able to see further. And so that's kind of the pieces that I learned is how did I do 45 minutes of push-ups? One more. That's it. And it's really the same mantra that the Navy SEALs use when they go through through Bud School, is they will tell you you have to do 1,000 push-ups. If you try to deal with that whole thing, there's no way you're going to do it. But if you just chunk it down and lean into it, next one, you'll actually get there eventually.
That's amazing. Perfect. I love that. That is so helpful. And it's true. I mean, it's just, if 2 months ago, somebody would have said, okay, the world is going to shut down. You're going to have to stay in your house. There's going to be a shortage of toilet paper. You're not going to work. You're going to have to homeschool your kids. We would freak out. We would be like, there's no way. I can't survive that. And it's just, it was
You're learning.
And we had to. And it's like, this is the step in front of us, right? This is that one step. Don't worry about the big picture.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like I just got off a call with a client that was looking at what their goals are. And I said, what's more important than the goal? Let's say you want to climb Everest. Well, many people don't realize, Tracy, you don't go from base to summit in one day. You don't do it in one fell swoop. You actually have base camps. And some of those base camps, you may be there for weeks at a time acclimating. And so it's really important that we know what that goal ultimately is, but it's not important as so much that we know all the steps to get there. That's the old African proverb. What is most important, critical in fact, is why are you even going for the summit? Is this a want or a must? And so as we're facing the pandemic right now is, look, what do you want your life to look like a year from now? Probably an important question. It's a worthy pursuit to look at, or in 3 years, but more importantly, why? Why is it critical that you actually create that in that time span, right? So the number one thing that I see is, as Al Granum, a name nobody would probably know, is he said, it's not your strength that holds you to your purpose. It's the strength of the purpose itself. And so the number one thing that I see people make the error in is that they don't take a step back and say, why is this a must for me? Because if you have the strength of the purpose, if you say it's not your strength that holds you to your purpose, what that's saying is that's discipline. Well, guess what? We're 7, 8 weeks, whatever it is, into this quarantine, and people have given up on discipline.
Yeah.
Now they're looking at, what must I do to survive?
Yeah.
And so that first step is, you don't go from that zero to summit in one fell swoop. Why? Because that acknowledges success. But the steps are about creating stability along the way. And that's the piece that I see people are missing right now, is they don't take the first step of, what is the strength of the purpose? Crystal clear. And it's not logic, it's emotion based. And the second is that they're trying to get back to success. Well, guess what? That ship sailed. We're not going back, people. So you have to redefine what success looks like, but to get there, we still have to work on creating stability, because our stable foundation has been rocked. We need to create a new foundation. So that's the behavior that we need to be taking. I really hate it when I'm interviewing people and they just go on, and here I am going on and on. So feel free to be like, shh.
No, it makes it easier for me. And what you're sharing is just such valuable information. And that's exactly it. It's literally figuring out, it's all that emotion, right? Coming from that place of like, what is the reason? What is the feeling I want to achieve at what my life is going to look like after this is over?
Yeah.
Freedom, peace, security, whatever it is. And, I love the metaphor of the driving through a dark, long highway at night, and you've got your headlights, which only shine 300 feet ahead of you, and that's all you can see. And you just trust that that road is going to be there, and it's going to keep going, and you're going to be okay. Yep. And that's along the lines of what you're saying. It's just taking that one step and following that purpose of what, you want to experience.
Yep.
So now I know you're big on rites of passage. How would you,
Yeah,
would you consider this a major rite of passage in everybody's lives right now?
I would. It's no secret. A lot of people don't know, but the reality is, we know in a decade's time that 2 out of 8 of those years you're going to have a bear market, a down market in the stock market, and 8 of those years are going to be a bull going up. We've been 11 years with a bull market. You think that we were overdue? It's like you can see, it's like being a weatherman, Tracy, and going, yeah, there's a storm coming. How do you know? Because we haven't had rain in 11 years, people. Okay? So if you understand how to read the signs, the same thing happened in 2008, 2009. I retired in 2007 the first time, knowing that the perfect storm was brewing. And I had a foundation, I had success to weather that storm. So I had deep roots. And so the way that we actually weather those storms are by accepting these rites of passage. So a rite of passage is an example. I laugh still to this day. I used to mentor students at the University of Michigan, and the freshmen are a great place to start mentoring because they come in with, yes, I get to make all the decisions. Oh shit, I got to make all the decisions. So there's an excitement, and then there's this fear of it's all on me. And that's often what a rite of passage initially looks like, is it's all on me. Nobody can do the work for you. You have to decide to accept the challenge that awaits you. And one of those in life often is the mark between a boy and a man, or a girl and a woman. And so they asked me, they said, well, you're happily married, so you don't have like impulses or urges towards other men, do you? I'm like, probably more because I'm married, right? Is it that desire to go, oh, wow, she's attractive, or wow, she has a great personality. It doesn't dissipate or dissolve when you get married, right? You can still look at somebody and be like, wow, they really got it going on. That's great. The difference in that rite of passage is not that the impulses and urges don't still come. Is that at the mark between a boy and a man is that they don't react or respond to those impulses and urges. They choose to refrain from those impulses and urges. And so right now, what we're seeing is this massive scale of all these impulses and urges. Hey, why wait, Tracy? You can get your Amazon Prime tomorrow. In fact, you can get it in an hour, right? Why wait a day? Why wait 3 days? I want it now. I mean, imagine Blockbuster was like, Netflix came in, and Blockbuster's like, nobody needs this. Well, people just didn't want to have to go to the store anymore. And so we have been in a society that has embraced, promoted, and supported impulses and urges. And what we're now seeing is it's time to pay the bill. And some of us have been able to weather that storm because we didn't have debt, because we aren't carrying credit card interest, because we had a stable business model, because we actually knew what we needed to do in order to do that mentally, physically, and spiritually. And so right now, as a rite of passage, is to ask us, oh, you thought this was success, but you didn't create a solid foundation, any actual stability, and now you drop down to survival. And so the rite of passage for us is change is inevitable, growth is optional. Are you going to grow and find out, how do I actually regain footing in my relationships, in my health, in my nutrition, in my finances, in my business, whatever that may be?
And that's it. This time is the perfect opportunity to stop and reevaluate, right? Am I going to just want things to continue on, or am I going to want something different for my life? And taking that shift and really looking at our lives. I mean, this is such an opportunity for everybody to go inside, sit down and look at what their dreams are, what their passions are, what they want for a partner, what they want for finances, what they want for a career, and evaluate and take those steps in the next direction, right? Instead of falling victim and like, oh, poor me, I'm not working. Okay, well, what can you do? I've got a daughter who's graduating from Northern Arizona University on Friday. And
Congrats.
I can't even apply for a job. Nobody's hiring. And I said, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit and complain about it? Or are you going to take your life into your own hands? So she's in the process of trying to figure out how to get an app made. She's majoring in fashion and merchandising, and create an app where she can benefit from what's happening. And that's the innovation that people need to tap into.
Yeah, so that's where in that rite of passage, we often look at the fear, which isn't real danger. Sometimes there's real danger in a rite of passage, but often that is just a false emotion appearing real. And we look at everything we might lose, everything that's at risk. But what I invite people to do is really spend time with looking at the other side. So in this pandemic, the news isn't reporting at all that I've seen where this is going to end up. Well, guess what? We're going to have massive innovation. Look at all the innovation already just in the ventilators. Automotive manufacturing creating ventilators. Look at the innovation that we are already coming up with to say, you know what, we're going to actually suspend all of these FDA guidelines and just let doctors practice their profession. We're going to remove all the red tape. We're going to remove all the insurance companies limiting their ability to practice, and we're going to let them actually innovate again. Think about the Oscar movies yet to be written. Think about the Grammy award-winning music and albums that are to be written, the Tony Awards, all of these things that we are going to innovate as a result of this. But you have to choose to say, it goes back to the 1980s for some people are like, what? Is who moved my cheese? Well, guess what? The world's cheese just got moved. And it's never a lack of resource. It's a lack of resourcefulness. And so you're gifting your daughter and saying, what are you going to do? Is say, throw out the manual. It doesn't work anymore. How are you going to get resourceful and navigate? And so I was challenged with you'll see on the free giveaway, we won't give it away yet, is that the / is dominate. And they're like, I had a couple people go, dominate's too aggressive. Dominate means like suppressing others. I said, yeah, that's some of the definitions, but if you actually look at the first, that's not what dominate stands for. They're like, well, maybe you should do compete. Here's the problem with compete versus dominate is competing is like being on a football team or being on a sporting team where you have a defense. If I'm competing, I'm looking at that defensive line that is trying to prevent me from scoring. If I go to dominate, I don't even see that defensive line because my eyes are on the goal. And that's the difference of people who are going to survive and thrive through this versus people who actually never recover. And so for your daughter are you wanting to compete? Instead, what I suggest is dominate, because that means you're focusing your attention on what the goal line is. And that's how you get through a rite of passage as well. Stop looking at the competition. They're looking at you. They're looking at going, does anybody have a clue here? Go be the answer.
And that's the shifting your mindset, right? Like, are you going to be the victim or are you going to be the victor and dominate? Because we have the opportunity to dominate whatever's happening in our lives. Yes, we only have control over a certain amount of it, but own that control, right? Own it and do what you can and empower yourself to make your life the best that it can be during these times. We have that choice.
Yeah. So often as an executive coach, and I actually all this week as I've been onboarding a ton of new students, is hearing people using the environment, hearing people use, well, I don't have a job, whatever it is, they're blaming the environment or other people for why they haven't summited. And the question is, are you using the past or are you using the pandemic? Are you using the current situation as an excuse or as an explanation? Because if you're using it as an excuse, that's a great place for therapy. I'm the way I am because mom and dad, whatever, great, go make peace with that. And I absolutely support, I have a degree in psychology, I support that. Coaching says, I accept responsibility. I'm responsible. What that tragedy was is an explanation, but it's no longer going to be an excuse for the decisions I make in the present and future. And so that allows you to then to start getting resourceful and saying, this sucked. This was tragic. So what? What am I going to do about it? How am I going to turn around and dominate? And everybody loves the comeback kid story, right? I mean, that's J.K. Rowling in Harry Potter. That's Star Wars. That every single one of those has a hero's journey. We reluctantly didn't want to do it. Guess what? You're drawn into it regardless of whether you wanted to or not.
Right.
The question is are you going to find the way through?
That's it. One of the lines that I always say to my kid, my little mommy cliches, is which option is going to empower you more? You know, and it's the same. I'm saying this to our viewers. You know, are you going to sit around and intoxicate yourself with alcohol? Alcohol sales are up, drugs, you know, binge watching. Which option is going to empower you more? You know, take control and do something that is going to move you in that step in the right direction, whatever it may be, whatever small step it may be, and just start making those changes.
Yeah, absolutely. You got
Um,
it.
so let's roll into, I was just going to say, or have you kind of, you know, share with the audience, you know, what words of encouragement or any other final thoughts you have to support everybody in continuing to be courageous during this time?
Yeah, I would say a couple of things. I appreciate the question. And one of those is, when would now be the right time to take your life back?
Mm.
That's a facetious question. How about now, right?
Painful.
If we look at a sailboat engine, its method of forward movement is by doing what?
Oh, you're asking, you want me to answer the question?
I want you to answer the question. Yeah, we can't hear them.
I thought it was just a thought question. So,
A sailboat moves forward by its sail,
yeah,
right?
sail, right.
Right. So if we look at a sailboat as an example, a sailboat does not go in a straight line. A sailboat has to tack, so it zigzags in order to get to its destination. That's life.
Mm-hmm.
And its motor is actually learning how to harness and capture the resistance of the wind so it can propel itself forward. So I want to share just my belief, and I could be wrong, but it's my belief that we've been sold a bag of goods that we're not supposed to experience pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't subscribe to that. Every major accomplishment that I have done, whether it is for myself, for my family, or for society, or my foundations, has required pain. You don't go to the gym and not grow muscle without some pain. If you do the same amount of weight every time, you're not actually growing, you're just maintaining. So for us to grow, we need to accept that one of the ingredients to a really amazing recipe includes the ingredient of pain. Suffering is an option, and I just choose not to suffer in the process. But you don't become a United States Marine. You don't do the Ironman circuit. And I had 33 major sponsors. Okay, I was a major sponsored athlete. You don't create two foundations. You don't retire at 35 without being willing to embrace pain. So the question is the next year is going to go by whether you choose to embrace it or just be like a dead fish and float downstream. The question is are you going to choose to leave suffering on the sideline, and are you going to learn how to harness that so you can actually make it part of your engine to propel you forward? The reality is it probably is a part of the ingredient. How much is up to you? And so I'm going to invite people to do that in small bite-sized pieces. We can accept, Calvin Coolidge, former president of the United States, said, the world is full of knowledgeable derelicts. We see droves of people graduate with college degrees full of knowledge, and they're absolute derelicts. Because knowledge is not power, okay? And I'm hoping that we can actually realize in this pandemic that it's time for us to revamp the education system as well. It's outdated, outmoded. It's time to update it because knowledge is useless without it actually being applied. Applied knowledge is power. We have a world full of talented people that never succeed. Talent alone isn't enough. What is omnipotent is the ability to say, I accept pain is part of the victory. Second is the ability to say, I need to be persistent. And third, consistent. If you say, fine, I'm willing to accept pain and I'm going to go to the gym once a month and I'm going to work out for 6 hours at a time, only one day a month. Well, you're not going to, so what? That's just stupid pain. You're not going to actually build anything. You're just going to be in pain for like 5 days a month because you did one day. So we have to understand in that, Tracy, that what we also need to do is be persistent. I need to go daily. I need to make sure that I keep showing up, regardless of whether it's going to the gym or going for a walk or going for a run or going for a bike, whatever it is, we need to be persistent. And then we also need to be consistent. That doesn't mean every single day. You got to have those pit stops, got to have that recovery in there. But if we are willing to accept that pain is part of the ingredient, and we learn to actually get comfortable being uncomfortable, that's how winning is done. That's how world champions are made. That's how innovation is actually achieved, and that's how you summit. But we have to be willing to be persistent and consistent in small, bite-sized pieces. Too much doesn't work. So it's just little pieces every day, kind of like throwing a pebble. Eventually, you'll build a mountain.
There you go. I've recoined the phrase uncomfortable to fun comfortable, because it's all about mindset, right? How are you going to look at it? Just let's get through it the best way we can.
Yeah, I mean, I'm learning because I used to be, I mean, I was literally the guy that was walking across the ridge of a mountain, dropping into avalanche zones. I'm the guy that did 12-hour rock climbing ascents that you'd need binoculars to be able to see me on the face of a mountain. That's who I used to be. Well, guess what? I've had so many injuries now. I'm competing with Evel Knievel for the number of surgeries. I don't regret them, right? There were pain that came after because I probably should have stretched a little bit more, or who knows what. I just wore myself out is really what it came down to. And so in that is the ability to say, you know what? I can have fun while I'm doing it. But it also means that we can be smart. So I have had to change how I work out, which means I also have an opportunity to say, maybe I need to also change my diet. Well, I can do that, and it might just be a little bit of pain to go, well, I have to take the time to research. How can I enjoy something sweet, salty, and it actually tastes good rather than it's a carrot that's just healthy? Actually, I like carrots. Let's say celery, right? Or broccoli. I hate broccoli, right? But maybe I can do something with that broccoli that if by itself was painful, but if I'm actually creative, I can find a way to embrace that and turn that, what did you say, that the something to fun?
Oh, fun comfortable.
Fun to fun comfortable. And that's how we learn to actually grow and expand our comfort zone.
That's it. That is it. So I understand, Chad, that you are making a nice investment into our viewers with an amazing free gift that you are offering anybody who signs up or clicks on the link that'll be in the email that they get.
Yes.
This is so amazing what you are doing, and I'm going to go ahead and let you explain it so you make sure everything gets out there for the viewers to know.
Yeah, so it's not a lollipop. We thought about that, and we're like, yeah, maybe we can do a little bit more than that. Although the ones that how many licks does it take to get to the center? There's, now that I just dated us, right? Now I have to see how many people know that reference. The offering is, we looked at it and said, the government gave away $10,000, Tracy, to help people through this pandemic. So we made that same opportunity happen. So we are investing $10,000 per person if they go to chadecooper.com/dominate. That's the normal cost to get into the 12-week Create Your Legendary Lifestyle program. So far, we have made over $500,000 investment in the community in bringing people in. So it's a 12-week program. There's a group coaching opportunity in there to actually help you create that foundation. And if you already have a strong foundation, then it's then going from the foundation to the next level of success for you. But it is a system that I use to allow me to retire at 35. It's a system that I then learned how to do many things and said, can I rinse and repeat this? And is this something that I can do if you don't take my path, which I hope you don't in life, but you have your own journey, will it work for you? So one of the things that we think about, Tracy, is that there's a lot of gurus and experts out there that are like, all you have to do is join this program and you'll get the results. Well, great, if you followed the exact same path that they took. Well, what if you don't? You're likely not going to. Can you still get those results? And so we wanted to make sure that it was engineered that on your unique fingerprint, right, on your unique journey, you'll still get those results. So we're making that available, normally 10,000, making it available for free. So we're investing in people so that they can invest in themselves. Biggest risk is in the skin in the game is what's the leverage? Well, if it's free, there's not a whole lot of skin in the game. So we really only want people that are going to jump in both feet, willing to invest and commit to themselves and really be in it from a place of it's not your strength that holds you to your purpose. What's the strength of the purpose itself? What is a must for you to achieve in the next 12 weeks? If that's your level of commitment, come in. If it's not, we may kick you out if you're not serious about it. So
And that's
I
it.
just put that we're realistic about it, right? Is we can't jeopardize the quality by having people that are dabbling in there.
I was speechless when you mentioned that free gift. I mean, this is the Chad E. Cooper stimulus package that he's offering to each and every one of you to make a change in your life and let that change reflect on the outside and ripple out into the world. I mean, this is what it's all about. And
But wait, there's more. Actually, there's not. That's it.
if you act now. Anyway,
Yes.
that is so generous of you, Chad. I so appreciate you and your team being willing to put that together. And you know, I also appreciate your time here and being willing to share and reach out to all these people who are just needing to hear the things that you've shared. It's such the time. We have a captive audience, and it's amazing. So thank you so much for your time. And you know, if anybody wants to check out his website, it's chaddecooper.com. And then once again, the link for the free gift is going to be in the email you receive with this recording. And any final words, Chad, before we sign off here?
Let me just leave it with the world. You were created for a purpose. And right now might be that opportunity that the world is looking for you to share your innate gifts and talents. There's only one of you. So how are you actually going to leverage and make the most of that? Who's counting on you right now so that you can actually take it to the next level? Leave it with that.
That's perfect. Perfect.
That's my German
Okay.
Shepherd. Sorry.
Those amazing words. We will sign off. And so I just say to everybody, in the meantime, be courageous. Signing off.
Awesome.
Love and light.